good, huh? For the size?
Yeah, they fight awesome on my smallest setup. Hey guys, Tackle Tom here. So just thought I would kind of voice over most of this. So found a great charter out of Anna Maria Island for my third day in Florida in a row fishing. So I'll post this captain's Google result that I found in the description. So the first spot we headed to was for Spanish mackerel. I said, would like to go out and catch anything that's biting and would love to catch something that I could take home and eat. So I caught three pretty similar sized Spanish mackerels here and took them home and broiled them up, and they were delicious. Just used butter and lemon on them. And yeah, this was a great spot to go to. And after I caught a few, I was basically the only one who was going to be eating, so didn't want to catch more than I would eat. So again, using my smallest setup here and little white bait, just tossed it out into these flats here around some seaweed formations, and Spanish mackerel were kind of circling around, and they would come through and you would get them, and they fought great. It was super fun to catch a few Spanish mackerel here. So then after this we headed back towards the shore a little bit and started out with white bait again to target some snook. So eventually I switched to an artificial, and that's what I used for the rest of the day. Like, it was pretty easy catching snook on these white bait. You just kind of let it swim, let it do its thing, and then the snook will find it and eat it, and then you got a snook. So this area was super fun. The captain knew that it was stacked with fish, so it was all day. I mean, we probably fished here for about 4 hours, and it was super fun. All similar sized snook. So towards the end of the day, we went to a different spot to try and get some bigger ones, and there were a few that were a little larger, but my biggest snook was probably the video before this one with Captain James Pollard. But anyway, this was really fun. We could just sit in the same space all day, and one thing I found out later, after kind of figuring out where I was based on the architecture of the land, is that I could actually walk to this spot from an access road and probably wade out into the shallow water here and fish for this same body of fish that are stacked up here. So it's always funny how these snook, when you release them, they suck on your thumb before they let go. It's pretty funny. So here I switched to the artificial lure. It was a little plastic called a zoom bait. I had never heard of it before, but the captain recommended it, and it worked really well, just as well as the bait, I would say. And they'll chase after it multiple times, which is pretty cool. Like, they don't just give up after they miss it, which is what I'm used to with tuna. But anyway, yeah, they would pound this lure until they really grabbed it. I don't know if it annoyed them or they thought it was really good bait, but it worked all day long, and was much better than using bait. Felt a little bit more sporty, I suppose. So yeah, caught a bunch here, and can't wait to go back to this place on foot, actually, because the water is so shallow, and there was an access road that you could get to this that you could just wade out and target the fish the same way. So here I'm chatting with the captain about tuna fishing, and all of a sudden I get hit while I'm not paying attention, which is always a good time. And I think this was probably the best fish I got in this spot, size-wise. So yeah, hope to upload some more videos soon. I have one more day of Florida fishing that I'd like to upload, and then I'm probably going to do some rod reviews before the season starts up in my area again. I don't know if I'll get back down to Bradenton at the same time of year as this again, but we'll see. So, yeah, I think I have one more video here where I gave the camera to the captain and he was up in his crow's nest, and so he got a little bit of an aerial shot of me casting under these shallows. I tell you, it's a learning experience to cast something so light these days. I almost never cast anything this light, that tiny little zoom or a little white bait on the end of a hook with no sinker, no weight or anything. It's actually, you need a very light rod to do that, and you need to be very finesse casting under these trees to get there. So it was good to practice that. I'm not very good at it. I think other people who fish for bass are probably much better at doing that with tiny little lures. Anyway, keep your drags heavy and stay away from the bottom.